Maya stood in the middle of the crowded family party, music shaking the walls and voices mixing in the air. Everyone was laughing, dancing, and trying to act happy. She tried to blend in like she always did, quiet, small, unnoticed. On the long table filled with drinks and snacks, she saw a glass labeled Tropical Sunrise Juice. The bright orange color looked harmless, almost inviting. She reached for it, hoping a sweet drink would help her relax. Maya didn't like parties, but she didn't want to ruin anything for anyone. She lifted the glass, took a small sip, and froze. Something inside her chest tightened. The taste, the smell, the burn she hadn't expected. In an instant, a memory flashed inside her mind. Her father's breath heavy with alcohol, his voice rising, her small hands shaking as she hid in dark corners. The room around her twisted for a second. Her heartbeat pounded in her ears. Her fingers slipped. The glass fell from her hand and hit the floor with a sharp crash. Juice splashed across her shoes and the tiles. The entire room went silent. The music kept playing, but everyone stopped moving. Dozens of eyes turned to her. Maya stared at the broken pieces on the floor, her chest rising and falling too fast. She tried to breathe, but the air felt too thick. Her hands trembled uncontrollably. Denise, her mother, stood across the room. She looked at Maya, but she didn't come forward. She didn't call her name. She just watched with a stiff, annoyed expression, like she was waiting for Maya to fix the scene she had just caused. Maya swallowed hard. Her mouth felt dry. She looked around at the faces staring at her, confused, curious, irritated. Then she whispered, barely loud enough for anyone to hear, "Who poured this for me?" Her voice broke as the words left her. It wasn't loud, but it cut through the room. Some people glanced at each other. Others took a step back. Denise's expression tightened. The silence grew heavier. Maya felt something deep inside her stirring. Something she had pushed down for years, something painful and old. She didn't understand it fully, but she knew the drink wasn't the real problem. It was what it brought back. It was what it reminded her of. And now everyone could see something was wrong. But no one moved. The moment hung in the air, full of fear, tension, and a wound she could no longer hide. Maya always had a complicated relationship with her mother, Denise, and her cousin Brianna, who was the birthday girl that night. Denise and Brianna were close in a way that always made Maya feel like an outsider. Denise praised Brianna for everything. Her looks, her confidence, her loud personality. But with Maya, her own daughter, Denise was different. She was harder, colder, always expecting Maya to be mature, be quiet, or not make a scene. Brianna treated Maya like someone who didn't fully belong to the family. She wasn't openly cruel, but she used small comments, eye rolls, and jokes to remind Maya of her place. Brianna loved attention and parties. Maya didn't. They lived in the same world, but they never understood each other. At 23, Maya was quiet, gentle, and stronger than most people realized. She had survived things her family chose to forget. She carried pain that no one in the room cared to understand. She looked calm on the outside, but inside, she was always holding herself together. Maya grew up in a house where alcohol meant danger. When she was a child, her father would drink until he became someone else. Loud, angry, unpredictable. He never needed a big reason to start shouting. Sometimes it was because his food wasn't warm enough. Sometimes because the TV remote was missing. And sometimes for no reason at all. Maya would hide behind furniture or under tables, pressing her hands over her ears so she wouldn't hear the yelling. She remembered the sound of bottles clinking, the heavy smell of alcohol in the air, and her mother's voice telling her, "Don't upset him. Just stay quiet." Denise never protected her. She always acted like Maya was too sensitive, too emotional, too dramatic. Whenever Maya cried or tried to talk about how scared she was, Denise would sigh and say, "You're fine. You make everything bigger than it is." Because of this, Maya learned to keep her feelings inside. She learned to smile when everyone else smiled, even when she felt the opposite. At family gatherings, she tried to act normal, even though every raised voice or strong smell made her heart race. She didn't want to ruin the party. She didn't want people to think she was difficult. Her family had a habit of hiding problems behind celebrations. Birthdays, graduations, anniversaries. They used these events to pretend everything was perfect. No one talked about the past. No one talked about pain. If something uncomfortable came up, They laughed louder, turned the music higher, or changed the topic. But Maya couldn't forget what she had lived through. Even though she wanted peace, her body remembered the fear. Certain smells, sounds, or situations still triggered her. She tried hard to stay calm, to blend in, and to avoid trouble. But sometimes even the strongest person reaches their limit. Maya wanted a simple life, quiet, safe, peaceful. But in this family, even peace felt difficult to find. Maya learns the juice wasn't juice, it was a spiked cocktail. One of her younger cousins whispered it to her after the glass dropped, almost scared to speak. Brianna said it was special, for fun. The cousin mumbled before quickly walking away. Maya felt her stomach twist. She had told everyone many times that she avoided alcohol. Not because she was strict or boring, but because even the smell reminded her of her father's drunk anger. She had explained this clearly. She thought the family understood. But someone had still handed her a drink that wasn't safe for her. Someone had done it on purpose. Her hands turned cold. Her throat felt tight. She looked across the room and saw Brianna laughing with her friends, like nothing was wrong. Maya walked toward her, her steps shaky but determined. "Brianna," she said softly. "Why did you give me that drink?" Brianna barely looked at her. "Relax, Maya. It was just a tiny bit of alcohol. You're always so dramatic." The word hit her like a slap. Dramatic. The same word her mother used. The same word people used when they didn't want to listen. "It's not funny," Maya said, her voice shaking. "I told you I don't drink. I told you for a reason." Brianna rolled her eyes. "Oh please. It's my birthday. You could try being fun for once." Several relatives nearby turned to watch. Maya felt heat rise in her face. Everyone was looking again, just like when she dropped the glass. "I could have had a panic attack," Maya whispered. "Why would you do that to me?" Before Brianna could answer, Denise came rushing over, not to comfort Maya, but to defend Brianna. "What's going on here?" Denise demanded. "She gave me alcohol," Maya said quietly. "On purpose." Denise scoffed. "Maya, it's not a big deal. You're making a scene over nothing. Brianna didn't mean any harm." Maya stared at her mother. The words felt familiar, too familiar. Not a big deal. Nothing. Making a scene. It was like every childhood memory repeating itself. "She knew I don't drink," Maya said. "Everyone knows." Denise folded her arms. "You always take things too seriously. It was a party drink, that's all. Stop embarrassing the family." Something inside Maya cracked. The same old pain she had swallowed for years began to rise. People were whispering. Some were smirking. Some looked annoyed. She felt cornered, humiliated, unsafe. Brianna laughed again. "See? Dramatic." For a moment, Maya couldn't breathe. The room felt too small. Her heart pounded as old fear pushed its way up. She had spent her whole life keeping quiet, so she wouldn't cause trouble. She had stayed calm even when she was hurting. But this time she couldn't hold it in. Maya lifted her head. Her eyes filled with years of pain and strength she didn't know she had. "No," she said softly but firmly. "I'm done being quiet." And for the first time in her life, she began to speak. Maya begins revealing pieces of her childhood trauma. Her voice trembled, but she didn't stop. "When I was a child," she said slowly, "I used to hide under the dining table whenever Dad came home drunk. I could hear the bottles in his hands. I could hear him shouting before he even walked through the door." Instantly, several relatives looked uncomfortable. Some exchanged worried glances. Others shook their heads lightly like she was saying something she shouldn't. Her aunt whispered, "Not here, Maya." Another cousin muttered, "This isn't the place for this." Someone else said, "Let it go. It's the past." But Maya continued. The memories were pouring out now, and she couldn't hold them back. "I remember my hands shaking," Maya said. "I remember trying not to breathe too loudly because I was scared he'd find me. Sometimes he yelled at Mom. Sometimes at me. Sometimes at no one." Brianna let out a small laugh. "We all had strict parents. You're not special, Maya." The words sliced through her, but she kept going. "One night," Maya said, her voice soft, "he threw a chair because the TV wasn't working. I ran to my room and held the door shut with my whole body. I was 8 years old." Her uncle sighed loudly. "Maya, you're too sensitive. You always have been. Kids exaggerate things." Maya looked around at the faces staring at her. faces that refused to believe her. Then she looked at her mother. "Mom," she said, "you remember? You were there." Denise tightened her jaw. "We are at a party. This is not the time to bring up old stories." "They're not stories," Maya said, her voice rising. "They happened." Denise waved a hand. "Your father had his problems, yes, but it wasn't as bad as you're making it sound. You always blow everything out of proportion." Maya felt her heart twist. She had heard these same words all her life. "When Dad shouted at me," she said, "you told me to be quiet. When he scared me, you said I was imagining things. When I cried, you told me to stop embarrassing the family." Denise's eyes flashed with anger. "And look at you now. Still embarrassing us." The room grew colder. Something inside Maya broke a little more. "All those years," Maya whispered, "I was alone. Even when I was surrounded by you all." She remembered sitting in her dark childhood bedroom, hugging her knees, trying not to cry too loudly. She remembered hiding in closets, covering her ears so she wouldn't hear her father's angry footsteps. She remembered telling her mother she felt scared, only to be told she was overreacting. The memories wrapped around her like shadows. Brianna smirked. "Maya, you're doing the most. It's a birthday party, not a therapy session." Maya's hands shook. "You gave me alcohol, even though you know it triggers me." "Oh my God," Brianna groaned. "It was a sip. Relax." Her uncle added, "You're grown now. Move on." Denise stepped forward, her face stiff. "Stop this right now. You are ruining everything. Stop embarrassing the family." Maya stared at her mother, truly seeing her for the first time. Not as her parent, but as another person who had failed to protect her. "You never listened," Maya whispered. "Not then, not now." And in that moment, she realized something painful and sharp. This family had never protected her. Not from her father. Not from fear. Not even from each other. The truth hit her so hard that she felt her knees weaken. She had reached her breaking point. Maya reveals the truth. Her voice was quiet but clear. "Dad didn't just yell," she said. "He hit me." The room went completely silent. Even the music suddenly felt distant, like it belonged to another world. A few people gasped. Others stared at Maya as if they were hearing something impossible. Maya looked directly at her mother. "And you knew," she said. Denise's eyes widened. Her lips trembled but no sound came out. "For years," Maya continued, "you told me to stay quiet. You told me not to make him angry. You knew what he did. You saw the bruises. You saw me cry. And you still told me it wasn't that bad." Denise finally shook her head weakly. "Maya, I didn't want things to fall apart. I stayed to keep the family together." Maya felt tears burning behind her eyes. "But your choice destroyed my childhood." Denise's shoulders dropped. She covered her face with her hands for a moment, then looked up again, eyes shiny, voice breaking. "I thought, if we stayed, if we kept the house, if we didn't break the family, it would get better," she whispered. "It didn't," Maya said. "It got worse." Brianna crossed her arms. "Okay, but what does that have to do with tonight? You're dragging this way too far." Maya looked at her. "You gave me alcohol even though you knew my past." Brianna opened her mouth to respond, but Denise suddenly spoke, her voice shaking. It wasn't Brianna's idea. Everyone turned to her. Denise swallowed hard. I told her to do it." Maya felt the floor tilt beneath her. "What?" she whispered. Denise looked shattered. "I told Brianna to help you loosen up. I told her you've become too serious, too closed, too distant. I thought a little drink would make you relax. Make you fun again. Fun again." The words stabbed straight through Maya. "So you told her to trick me?" Maya whispered. "To give me something you knew could hurt me?" Denise covered her mouth, crying softly. I didn't think it would hurt you that much. I just wanted you to be normal. I wanted you to enjoy yourself." Maya felt something inside her break in a way she couldn't repair. "You wanted me to be someone else," she said. "Someone who didn't have trauma. Someone who didn't remember the truth." Her hands shook as she wiped her tears. "You never protected me from Dad," she said. "And now you didn't even protect me from this." The room felt too small, too bright, too loud even in silence. People looked away, unsure what to say. Some were ashamed. Some were shocked. But none of them moved to comfort her. Maya felt like she was standing in the middle of her whole life, Every pain, every silence, every ignored cry, finally exposed. Her entire world collapsed in one moment. She let out a breath that sounded like years of holding everything inside. And the emotional explosion everyone had forced her to hide finally came out. She leaves the party despite the chaos. Tears were still wet on her cheeks, but she didn't try to wipe them away. She just walked toward the door, feeling the heavy air behind her. People whispered her name, some reached out, others just stared, but no one stopped her. For the first time in her life, Maya didn't care what they thought. The cold night air hit her face as she stepped outside. It felt cleaner than the air inside. Softer. More real. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her shaking hands. A moment later, she heard footsteps. Maya. Wait. She turned and saw her younger brother, Jordan, jogging toward her. His face wasn't angry or confused. It was full of worry. He reached her side and took a gentle breath. I'm so sorry, he said. I heard everything. I believed you. I always believed you. Maya felt her chest loosen, just a little. You did. He nodded. I saw things too growing up. I was too young to understand, but I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how to help you. A tear slipped from Maya's eye, not from pain this time, but from relief. Thank you, she whispered. I needed someone to believe me. I do, Jordan said softly. And I'm proud of you. You finally spoke up. For the first time that night, Maya felt seen. Truly seen. She looked up at the sky, letting the cool breeze touch her skin. It felt like the first breath of freedom she had taken in years. I can't go back in there, she said. You don't have to, Jordan replied. Maya nodded. I think I need help. Real help. I want to start therapy. I want to learn how to heal. Jordan smiled gently. That's a good thing. And I need space, Maya said slowly. From Mom. From Brianna. From anyone who hurts me and pretends it's normal. Jordan didn't argue. He didn't tell her to be kinder or softer or more forgiving. He simply said, whatever you need, I'm here. Maya felt strength growing inside her. Quiet, steady, real. She wasn't the weak one. She wasn't dramatic. She wasn't wrong for speaking up. She was finally choosing herself. Just then the door opened behind them. Denise stepped out, her face red from crying. Maya, she called softly, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Maya looked at her mother, really looked at her. For the first time, she saw a frightened woman, not a powerful parent. But the hurt inside Maya was still too deep, too fresh. You can be sorry, Maya said gently. But I need space to heal. Denise's face crumbled, but she didn't argue. She just nodded, wiping her tears. Maya turned away and took another deep breath. Jordan stood beside her, steady and supportive. And Maya walked forward, not back into the house, but toward a life where she would finally put herself first. Weeks later, Maya sits alone in a quiet cafe journaling. The soft music and warm smell of coffee make her feel calm in a way she hasn't felt for years. She writes slowly, letting her thoughts flow without fear. Therapy has helped her open up, and now her journal feels like a safe place. She thinks back to the night of the party, the moment she dropped the glass. For a long time, she believed it was because of the drink, but now she understands the truth. It wasn't the drink. It was the years of silence finally breaking. All the pain, the fear, the memories she kept hidden inside. Everything came out in that one moment. It was as if her heart couldn't carry the weight anymore. She closes her eyes and breathes in deeply, feeling lighter than she ever has. For so long, she lived in a world where her voice didn't matter. But now she knows it does. She has every right to speak, to feel, to heal. Her phone buzzes on the table. She picks it up and sees a message from Jordan. Proud of you. Keep going. Maya's eyes warm with gentle emotion. She smiles softly, a real smile, small but full of peace. Jordan's support has been a quiet light guiding her through the darkness. She looks back at her journal and writes one last line for the day. I am learning to choose myself. The cafe is calm around her. People laugh quietly. Spoons clink against cups, and the world feels safe, finally safe. Maya closes her journal, places her hand over it, and whispers to herself, I'm finally free. Her voice is soft, but the meaning is powerful. She isn't the scared child she once was. She isn't the silenced girl from the party. She is someone healing, someone growing, someone brave enough to start over. Fade out emotionally. Hey besties, thanks a lot for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you soon. Bye.